Hey, this is Chris, the Idaho Painter. Hopefully you enjoyed this free video lesson on fences and decks. This is part of my comprehensive course over at paintlifesupply.com. The whole course goes into marketing, it goes into estimating, it goes into how to professionally stain fences, decks, and pergolas. So hopefully you enjoy this lesson, and thank you very much for watching. All right, today I'm going to be talking about doing maintenance coats on fences. So we got a fence here. This fence has been done 2 years ago with Expert Stain and Seal, and I'll talk a little bit about their product. Their product is an oil-based product. It's a penetrating, self-leveling oil, and one of the benefits to their product, it's an oil, so it adds something to the wood, keeps it from splitting and cracking, because typically your wood, it's a tree, it's been cut down, it's sitting out here, whether it's a fence, whether it's a deck, it's just continuing to dry over time. All the tannins, all the oils are just drying out of it. Eventually it begins to twist, split, and crack, and that's kind of just the nature, of wood. Now, adding oil to the wood, it stops that process. It keeps the wood soft. It keeps it protected from the sun. So Expert Stain and Seal oil is a great product to have a fence last for years and years and years and look amazing every 2 to 3 years. If it's a semi-transparent, transparent, or semi-solid, it's going to have to be coated every 2 to 3 years. And the coating process is typically just the same as the first time you did it. You'll typically come out, strip a fence, get it down to bare wood, and then you'll apply your coat. You're going to spray it on. You're going to back brush it. It's very labor intensive. The next time you come back to maintenance coat it, you got to spray it. You got to back brush it. It's labor intensive. Now, Expert Stain and Seal oil, you do not have to back brush it at all. It's a self-leveling oil, and what that means is you can spray with a random pattern all over. You can get drips, you can get runs. It's going to self-level. It's going to penetrate into the wood without back brushing at all. And so what that does actually mean for future coats, maintenance coats, it's very fast, simple, and easy to do. If you apply maintenance coats when you're supposed to, this fence will continue to look amazing years down the road. The maintenance coat, I just come out here. I don't have to do any prep work. You could come out and do a light wash. You're just maintenance coating it and you're done it in the proper amount of time. You don't have to strip the wood. Typically a fence that's been out for years, we typically have to strip a lot of the wood off, the discoloring off to get it so it looks good. This fence was brand new wood. It was treated with Expert Stain and Seal oil. It was run through the Expert Stain and Seal machine, absolutely saturated it. Now we're back for just the maintenance coat. And it depends on the climate too. It could be 1 to 2 years, but 2 to 3, you should never let a fence treated with an oil-based product to go more than 3 years in any climate, because what happens is the sun, water, snow, everything just leaches those oils out. They dry out over time. The first time you coat it, so much of it penetrates deep into the wood. So your first time you maintenance coat it, it's very important to get a good coat on it once again. So a maintenance coat typically is going to take less product than the first time you coat it, where you're just absolutely saturating it. We're just going to be loading up a sprayer, an airless sprayer. I'm going to have the pressure down really low to control overspray. I'm going to have a small tip on it and begin spraying. And once again, their product, one of the unique things about their product is you do not have to back brush it. And I kind of want to stress that point, because if you're using a water-based product, solid color stains, most oil-based products, they aren't self-leveling, and if you don't back brush them, the fence or deck is going to look really bad, especially fences. You'll see fences, you've probably seen some driving down the road. It looks dry, looks blotchy, it has lap marks, it has overlap marks, and it just looks kind of like a mess. Whether a professional's done it or not, that's a fence that's been sprayed with a product that is a not self-leveling or penetrating product, and it hasn't been back brushed, and it hasn't been coated with enough product. So whenever I'm working with oil-based products doing fences, I always wear what we call a monkey suit, Tyvek suit. I wear a respirator. Anytime I'm spraying oil-based products, I typically wear a respirator with organic vapor mask on them, activated charcoal filters on it. I don't use just a P95 or N95 filter on there, which I typically would if I'm just spraying the exterior. You got to stir your product up. The product's sitting for a while. The tint settles really fast. You definitely want to use a stir stick to scrape up, because it'll settle down to the bottom and get pretty hard. Use a stir stick to scrape everything off the bottom and get it broken free. Then I'll just take a drill and I put a stir whip. I like using just a Hyde stir whip to begin stirring that tint in there, get it mixed in really, really well. If you're doing a large fence, a huge subdivision or something like that, definitely want to like stir it occasionally because this tint does settle pretty fast. We get a short fence, I'm not going to have to worry about it here, but the tint will settle and you'll begin drawing the tint that's settling off the bottom. And then by the time you get to the end of a 5, the color could be different. It could be lighter. You've sucked up a lot of the tint that's been settling while you're spraying. I always wear gloves whenever I'm using Expert Stain and Seal oil products. I typically wear gloves, and I use Raven gloves. I put underneath these gloves right here, that way, because the oils actually could seep right through these gloves, but I like using these for a grip. You can see I already got oil on my hands. I just don't want that getting on my hands, and I'll get in my suit, my protective suit, because I don't want to get any oil on me because it doesn't wash out of your clothes. Well, neither does paint for that matter, but so I'm getting ready to spray here, and I'm wrapping some tape around my suit. I don't like the suits how puffy and baggy they are. I buy extremely large suits so I can just not have to take my shoes off. I can slip right into them easily, but then they're really baggy. So wrap tape around it, tightens it up, and now it's not gonna be touching things, getting in the way of things. So just kind of simple little tip. I just use an orange frog tape just to wrap the suit up. Now this is an important step of the process, actually stirring up your product. This could be, you could easily forget to do this, and this could cause a whole lot of problems if you just stick your product down in here and begin drawing stain out, stain the fence. All that stuff settled on the bottom is gonna be sucking right into your sprayer, and it's gonna be, this fence is gonna be really dark in the beginning and then really light at the end of the 5. So make sure, and I'm gonna show you, dip my stir stick, I can feel a lot of tint down there, so I'm gonna scrape it off. I'm gonna show you. This is all the tint settled on the bottom. Now this will become, whoa, a big problem, if you didn't stir that up. So there you go, look at all that tint. So I'm gonna break all this stuff free and then begin stirring it mechanically. So the reason, you could ask, well, why aren't you just using the whip to do that? The whip actually, it's not a flat surface, so it doesn't scrape it off the bottom. All right, so we've got, I've got a 5 that's, about 3/4 full. This fence, the portions we're doing, the sections, I'm not gonna go through a 5. I'll go through probably maybe 2.5 gallons or so. If you were gonna go through multiple 5s, it's a good idea to box them. So I got 2 5s that are the same color. This was the original that was used on the fence when it was originally coated with the Expert Stain machine. This is a new 5. We'll want to box them and mix them together. So I'm getting my sprayer set up. I typically use a 30-inch extension, so I'm not next to the fence when spraying, so I'm not just getting clobbered, with overspray or oil. I always use just old tips. I don't use any new tips when I'm spraying a fence. You're not after like a fine finish, or you're not worried about, especially with Expert Stain and Seal products, you're not worrying about fingering and all that stuff because it self-levels. But I always use an HEA tip. Gives you nice feathered edges. This is a 517. I'll spray it with a 517 HEA because I can kick the pressure way down. I don't want a lot of pressure because I want to control overspray. This isn't about, I'm not concerned about going, super fast. What I'm concerned about is overspray carrying, for 100 yards down the road. It's about 800 PSI. So that's down about right where I want it. So now you can see I can get a run like that. Don't have to worry about it. It's gonna penetrate, self-level. Any other product, all the other products I've always used in the past, that would be a big problem if you didn't back brush it out. That would dry just like that. I'm gonna get my mask on, ready to go.
see in this video, you know, I'm just spraying at a downward angle to get the tops of this horizontal privacy fence. If I just sprayed straight, I wouldn't necessarily be getting the tops. It is a penetrating oil, so it's going to penetrate through the whole wood, but the angle adapter makes it nice. On the opposite side, when I get on the other side of the fence, I don't have to worry about spraying tops and bottoms, just the face. So you can see I can angle it up. Now I can spray the bottom, get that sprayed too. Once again, you can see I don't have to worry about runs, lap marks, anything. Spraying it, you know, inside, back inside there. All these boards were actually pre-stained, all the 2x4s, so even behind here it was stained before, but if I want to make sure I'm getting it inside, just spray it just like that. I can shoot it down inside there, just like that. Again, hitting the bottoms. So get to the top, just switch it. By hitting the tops and the bottoms, I almost don't even have to go over the face again, because I've already hit the face by just hitting the tops and bottoms. A little discoloration from the pine trees right here. Even if I spray over that, that'll wash right off a week from now. All right, now I got this section of the fence sprayed. I think I've gone through a gallon. So that's a maintenance coat, both sides, you know, 1 gallon. I think it took me 15 minutes to spray it. I mean, this is super fast. Doing maintenance coats is fast and easy, and it's really important to do if you want the fence to look like this, you know, 10 years down the road. Now, once again, this is also gonna help ward off bugs and stuff, boring into the wood, chewing the wood up and stuff. Once again, it's also gonna help it from twisting and cracking. So this horizontal fence, I think there's only one picket I saw, the other side, that was a little bit twisted and stuff. So the cardboard shield holder, I did break out the cardboard shield holder. It's dead calm, no wind. So typically if I got a lot of wind and I'm like concerned about this metal structure, is just an old container, steel container, we're not worried about. But if I was worried about, you know, wind picking it up, carrying it towards that direction, I'd be using my cardboard shield holder, especially when I go over the tops or when I go, you know, down on the bottom. This isn't somebody's lawn, this is up in the mountains. This is all gonna be, these weeds will be, you know, mowed and stuff over, but the product itself, food grade oil, environmental friendly product. It's non-toxic. It's not going to harm, you know, plants. It's not going to harm anything if you get any, you know, on the plants at all. But there we go. We're going to move on to the next section and do our maintenance coat on the next horizontal privacy section down the way here. So just to give you an idea, so, I mean, this fence is already stained now, completely saturated. And, you know, just to give you an idea of the self-leveling, you know, properties to this product, if you went and just sprayed some stain like that, you know, with another oil-based product or water-based product, that's gonna stay like that, solid color like that, and you're gonna actually see that. Now we'll revisit this in just a little bit, and that's gonna be completely gone. So you can see we're like about 3 minutes in, you know, we're back here. You probably couldn't even tell unless I pointed it out, but this is where I actually sprayed it, and it's already self-leveled itself. So it's dispersing itself, you know, sideways. It's actually working itself up. It's penetrating in. So it's very forgiving for anybody that doesn't have experience, you know, spraying. And it's one of the things, it's not as labor intensive as most products out there. Like I don't have any experience with any product ever in my past that you didn't have to back brush. So now one person can spray a fence and be done. You don't have to have a second person. You don't have to stop and back brush. Easy, simple to use, very forgiving product.